Hello, everybody. Jason Lady here. Once again, I am back and I'm going to read more monster problems to you. In fact, we're on our fifth part now, our fifth installment of the story. But before we get into that, I want to show you. Remember how last time I had a thing of orange slime, a jar left behind? I think maybe I have a Daley-Destroyer in my house. Well, I have even more proof that maybe there's a Daley-Destroyer here because the orange slime is multiplying. Ah! I don't know what I'll do. I think I'll calm myself down by looking at a picture. This is a picture that was drawn by Maddox. Maddox is 8 years old and he is from Richmond Heights. And he drew a machine. If you look really closely, it says Taco Nader. He drew a Taco Nader. It looks like it's got controls over here and a conveyor belt, and there's a taco flying out of it. This is a machine that makes tacos. I don't know about you, but that's a machine I'd like to have in my house. I would eat tacos all the time. Yum. Anyway, let's move on. And just to let you know really quick, you can actually submit your own pictures on jasonrlady.com. Imagine if you had a magic pen, and like Maddox, he apparently wants to have lots of tacos just like me. So imagine you had the magic pen, just like Brad in the story, and everything you drew became real. What would you draw? Go to my website and submit a picture. Love to see it. Moving on now, let's look at monster problems. When last we left the story, Brad had his first real life encounter with the Daley-Destroyer, and it's just walked out of the room to go on its mission to destroy his little brother, Daley. And Brad doesn't know what to do. And remember, the other kids can't see the monster. Only Brad and Daley can, and Daley hasn't seen it yet. So Brad's wondering what to do, and he's pretty flabbergasted. So let's go ahead and start, shall we? Hey, Brad, came a voice from behind me. I turned to see Mary, the girl who always sat behind me. I think this was the first time she'd ever spoken to me. Hello, I said, the golden pen still in my hand. I gradually noticed that she and a bunch of the other kids were staring at me. What? I asked them. Mary looked around at everyone, looking worried. Well, Brad, we are wondering, why have you been talking to yourself for the past 5 minutes? I winced. Of course, that's how it would look to everyone, since they couldn't see the Daily Destroyer. They were all staring at me, some of them looking amused, some looking afraid, like I was nuts or something. They obviously wanted some kind of explanation for my odd behavior. Well, it's like this, I told them. I have this funky disease that I picked up while traveling in Denmark. It makes me talk out loud when I don't want to. Oh, wow, Mary said. That's terrible. You actually believe him? Another kid, Charlie, said. He laughed. Mary, you know Brad is a weirdo. All he does is draw, and his only friend is that moocher Quentin. He was probably talking to one of his imaginary friends. Maybe it was the Super Six he was talking to, said another kid who had obviously seen my pictures at some point. Those people you draw, I bet you talk to them all the time. Someone has to listen to you, right? Almost every kid in the class laughed really hard at that one. I felt myself turn red. I knew that some of the other kids thought it was a bit strange, but I had no idea they thought I was capable of sitting around talking to imaginary friends. I put the pen in my backpack, then I noticed Mary was squinting at me. What? I asked. Um, what's that on your shirt? She asked, pointing. I felt my shoulders where the Daily Destroyer had put its arm around me, and my hand came back with sticky orange goo on it. Oh, gross, Mary said. She scooted her chair away a few inches. Gee, Brad, Charlie spoke up. You forget to take a shower this morning, or what? They all cracked up laughing again, but at that moment I didn't care so much. My concern was Daly and the Daily Destroyer I'd created that was on its way to destroy him. I had to find a way to warn Daly right away. I got out of my seat and walked over to Miss Troubadour's desk. Not only a weirdo, but dirty too, Charlie was telling the class. That guy's a piece of work, huh? Mary spoke up, sounding worried. Hey, Brad, this disease you got in Denmark, can other people catch it too? Or is there a shot for it or something? I ignored her and kept walking. I didn't have a plan when I got out of my seat, but I had one by the time I got to the teacher's desk. I realized that the Daily Destroyer had given me the perfect excuse to leave the classroom. Miss Troubadour, I said as I reached the desk. She had her feet up and was still talking on her cell phone. Hold on, Judy, she told the person on the other end. One of these kids wants something. She put her hand over the receiver and turned to me. What is it, kid? I'm in the middle of something here. I showed her my hand, still covered in orange slime, and turned around to show her the same stuff coating the back of my shirt. Ah, that's disgusting, she said, making a grossed out face. What happened, kid? Never mind. I don't want to know. She pulled out a piece of paper and wrote up a restroom pass. Go, go, get yourself cleaned up, she said, handing me the note and waving me out the door. As I left, I heard her telling her friend on the phone, Orange slime! Can you believe the stuff kids today are into? Chapter 4 The Mysterious Note. I walked down the hallway, holding my restroom pass tightly in one hand. I knew full well if I ran into a teacher in the hall, this little piece of paper was the only thing that would save me from a trip to the principal's office. Feeling a little guilty, I walked right past the boys' bathroom and headed for the elementary school side of the building. It was weird to go over there. I had never been in that part of the school since I was Daley's age. Fifth grade was the magical age where you got to go to the big kid side of the school. I was keeping an eye out for the Daley-Destroyer and looked inside the classrooms as I walked past them. I was amazed at how small some of the chairs and desks looked. I couldn't believe I'd ever been small enough to fit in them. The walls had all these little kid pictures up, pictures of teddy bears and ABC charts and stuff like that. I realized I missed being a kid. Back then, you could draw all you wanted. Now they expect me to pay attention in science class and learn square roots. Getting older seems like it's no fun at all. I found the fourth grade section. Knowing the name of Daley's teacher, it was easy to find the room he would be in. Luckily, he wasn't in music class or gym class, since that would mean he wouldn't be in his classroom. I carefully looked into Daley's classroom. What I saw in there shocked me. Daley was teaching the class. I knew he was smart, but he was so smart his teacher let him teach the class? I couldn't believe it. But sure enough, the teacher was sitting at her desk, and along with all the other kids, she was glued to whatever Daley was up front talking about. He had all sorts of words and numbers drawn up on the board and was gesturing wildly with his hands. Seeing him like that was pretty strange. He could be a know it all and loved to tell people stuff they didn't know, but I always had the impression Daley only did that to show how superior his knowledge was and how dumb everyone else was compared to him. But seeing him teach his own fourth grade class, he actually seemed like he was enjoying it. He was having fun being a teacher. It really made me see him in a whole new light, and it made me more determined not to let the Daley-Destroyer get him. I knocked my hand on the open door and whispered, Daley. He heard me and looked over, seeming very annoyed to be interrupted. He made a face when he saw me, like he had just ate a lemon. Brad, he said, what are you doing here? Come here, I told him. I have something really important to tell you. He waved his hand at the room full of kids in front of him. Can't you see I'm in the middle of something here, Brad? They were all quiet, watching us with complete attention. Even the teacher was quiet and looking on with respect. I never seen anyone treat Daley like that. Come on, Daley, I said, hopefully sounding really impatient. He made this huge dramatic sigh and told his class, I'll be right back. Please start reading on page 9 in the balloons book. I looked around nervously, making sure the Daley-Destroyer wasn't sneaking up on us. Not to mention nosy teachers wondering what this little Michael Brothers conference was all about. What is it, Brad? He asked me, sounding really annoyed. I was in the middle of something really important in there. Listen to me, Daley, I told him, grabbing one of his shoulders. What I'm about to tell you is going to sound totally insane, but you have to listen to me, all right? Brad, everything you say sounds totally insane to me, he said, brushing my hand off his shoulder. Now what is it? Make it quick. I have students waiting for me. I swallowed hard. Promise me something, Daley. Promise me that if you see a big, green, slimy monster coming your way, you will run and hide and tell an adult. It doesn't matter if no one else can see it. You've got to run and hide and get an adult if you see a big, green, slimy monster coming your way. Do you understand me, Daley? Daley was looking at me like I'd grown a horn or an extra set of arms or something. Brad, are you okay? He asked. Did you accidentally eat some glue or something? Promise me, Daley, I snapped at him. Do it, or I'll tell those kids in there you sleep with a stuffed purple penguin. Which is true. He named it Pete the Penguin, actually. He took a step back like I'd hit him. You would not. I would too. Promise me, Daley. Okay, he said. Keep your voice down. He looked into the classroom to make sure no one was overhearing our talking. I promise, he said angrily. I don't know why I'm promising you anything. You're the one who owes me 27 favors. Can I go back to teaching now? Sure, I told him. Gee, Daley, you teach your own class? Do Mom and Dad know about this? Go away, he said, waving his hands. You're going to get us both in trouble. Try not to draw in science class today, all right? Remember, I said as I walked away, if you see green monsters, he rolled his eyes. Yes, I'll get an adult and I'll run and hide. Will you get going already? I left looking back just in time to see him go back into his classroom. Yeah, Daley can be a pain, but I'd feel awful if the Daley-Destroyer got him. He was my younger brother, after all. We had grown up together. And it looked like Daley might be a teacher someday and be really good at it too. I didn't want that to not happen just because I drew a stupid monster. On my way back to homeroom, I stopped to clean the orange gunk off myself, and I was surprised to see the school janitor in the hallway mopping up what looked like more orange goop. The Daily Destroyer was roaming the school, all right, but what was his game? What exactly would he try to get Daley? I didn't know, and I felt totally helpless. There was no way Daley would believe my story, and I'm sure he hadn't taken me seriously when I warned him. He only promised to get me to go away. Mom, Dad, Miss Troubadour, the principal, none of them would believe the Daily Destroyer was out there looking for Daley. I figured all I could do was warn Daley and hope for the best. Little did I know. I got back to homeroom and sat down. Miss Troubadour and the other kids had gone back to ignoring me, which was a relief. I didn't want them to sit there making fun of me for the whole homeroom period. But no sooner had I sat down, I felt something under me on the seat. Making sure no one was watching, I reached below myself and found a folded up note there. It had my name on it. It said, Brad, open this now. Now, I'm not a guy who gets notes, ever. Notes are mostly a girl thing. If you're a guy, you only get them if a girl likes you. And that had never happened to me. Girls don't like guys who do nothing but draw all the time and hang around with moochers. I figured this note was some stupid prank. Opening it, I found myself proven wrong. Here's what it said. I know what's happening to you. I know about the green monster. I saw you talking to him this morning. I don't know for sure, but I bet you have a golden pen that came to you in a weird way. Please meet me at the blue lunch table. I'll tell you who I am when you come. I might have some answers for you. I slowly folded up the note and looked around the room, trying to look casual. Everyone was into talking with each other or doing homework. A couple had their heads down, getting a few extra minutes of sleep. No one was looking my way. I wondered who had sent this to me. They'd obviously put it on my chair after I left the room to warn Daley. But that wasn't the really important part. The important part was they obviously could see the Daily Destroyer too. And they somehow knew about the golden pen on top of that. As you can imagine, I was going nuts wondering what was going on. I sat through first period, which is history, by the way, a class I'm actually pretty good at, not really listening to the teacher. And for once, not because I was drawing. My parents had promised bad consequences if I was caught drawing in class again. Plus, drawing the Daily Destroyer and all the bad things that had happened since then kind of turned me off to drawing. It was a weird feeling. I never felt that way in my life. Even home with a cold or the flu, I still drew. Even dead tired, I drew. But now, knowing that a slimy monster was after my little brother, drawing just didn't appeal to me. Anyway, I wasn't listening because my mind was occupied with worries for Daley, hoping he took my warning at least somewhat seriously and wondering who the mystery note writer was. If I was a police officer, I could check it for fingerprints. Or if I was a space police officer, I could check it for energy traces or something. But a sixth grade kid is pretty limited when it comes to investigative ability. I just had to wait till lunch to see who this person was, what they knew, and how they knew it. But wondering about it and being forced to sit there in class hearing about the American Revolution almost drove me nuts. I was relieved when second period finally arrived. This was art class, one of the few classes I shared with my buddy Quentin. At last, someone I could talk to about all this. I got there first, and as soon as he came in and sat next to me, I began talking a mile a minute. Hey, genius, I said to him. Your little theory about Daley making up the Daily Destroyer and using it to mess with my brain? Nope, no way, not a chance. It's real, Quentin. It's all real. Slow down, man, he told me. He was digging in his bag. No pencil again, it seems. He turned to another kid and used his mooching ability to get a pencil. Quentin did this just about every week. I wonder where all the pencils he borrowed went, and what happened to the ones his parents bought for him. Did he trade them for food or something? Quentin, listen to me, I said. Class hadn't started yet. Mr. Octagon was still doing some work at his desk. I needed to tell Quentin everything before it was time to be quiet and do work. Listen, the Daily Destroyer is real. He listened as I quickly told him everything that had happened that morning. I was telling him some weird stuff, but he didn't seem to be freaked out or anything. When I was done, Quentin leaned back in his chair. He ran one hand through his stiff red pencil eraser looking hair. He looked very thoughtful. Finally, he looked over at me. Brad, you accidentally eat some glue or something? I wanted to bang my head on the table. Why do people keep asking me that? I exclaimed. What, you don't believe me? You think I'm just making this up? Hey, hey, he said, holding up his hands and laughing. I'm just kidding, man. I'm your buddy, your comrade in arms. I'm the Robin to your Batman. Or maybe it's the other way around. But anyway, I believe you. It is one of the freakiest sounding stories I've heard in a long time, but I believe you. I let out a sigh of relief. It was great to have someone listen to and believe my crazy story. And I think we're going to stop there. Next time, we'll learn who wrote the mysterious note and who knows about the Daily Destroyer and can see it and knows about the magic pen. That we'll learn next time. And remember, if you have a picture that you want to send to me, you can do it at www.jasonrlady.com. What if you had a magic pen and everything would become real when you drew it? What would you draw? Send that to me and I will share it here on YouTube or I'll post it on my social media. This weekend, there will be no new videos, but I will pick this back up on Monday. And next week we will continue. Hope you have a great weekend and take care.